Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel today. Okay, so here's the deal. This is going to be very unorthodox. I actually wasn't even going to film this video at all about my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. And the reason for that was because I didn't have any time. I've been working a lot lately and I didn't have any spare time to be in my beauty room in order to film and get that video out to you. And I decided I didn't want to film it in that room and do it in a rush and have it not be good. I don't like to put up something that isn't good. You know, a good quality. And so I've been driving in between my jobs and I started thinking about it and I was like, well, why does it have to be so professional looking? Why can't you and I just have a conversation as if we were out to lunch and we were talking about how we were about to go shopping and what we were looking forward to buying at Sephora? Because the deal is I don't have any of the products with me. I won't be able to swatch, but I will be able to give you my gut reaction and my kind of just gut instinct of all of the products that I'm loving at Sephora right now and the things that I want to encourage you to at least look into and then possibly buy. And I figured, you know what? I may not have had time to be all professional in my filming studio beauty room, but you know what I have right now? I've got some time, I've got my vlogging camera, and we're just gonna think outside the box a little bit today because I just wanted to have the conversation about what you should consider buying at the Sephora VIB sale. And so I'm just gonna get started and hope I can do this all in one shot. So the first thing I want to highlight is the new primers that came out by Urban Decay. I absolutely love the pink looking one. It doesn't go, I mean, it looks pink in the bottle, but it doesn't go on pink. It is the Complexion Perfector. It's the smoothing primer. I absolutely live for it. Actually, it has surpassed the Benefit Professional as far as smoothing primers go in my book. It's a little bit thicker and just glides on much smoother. It's got argan oil in it, so it's nice for people who've got dry skin, but works really well for those with combination skin as well. And it just glides on so nicely, and just my foundation just seems to sit on top of it so awesomely. And so I definitely love that one. When it comes to foundations, I think right now that brands are really hitting it out of the park when it comes to stick foundations. I've mentioned before how much I love the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundation Stick. That one is great for those of you who have maybe combination to dry skin because it is quite a bit hydrating. I am also loving I am also loving right now the one by Anastasia. Her foundation stick glides on equally as nicely, but is a little bit more designed for people with combination to oily skin, just because it's the essence of the formula just really works well with that sort of skin type. So you've got two amazing options when it comes to foundation sticks. I love by Sephora their Pro Brush line. I've mentioned this before. They have something called the Pro Core Fusion brush. There's a flat top one and there is also an angled one. I absolutely love the flat topped one. I use it to apply liquid foundation as well as my foundation sticks, and that brush is just incredible. It's denser in the center and quite a bit diffused around the exterior. It's almost like a two-tone brush, and I absolutely love it for that. I'm using it every day no matter what kind of foundation I'm using for that day. When it comes to eyeshadows, especially when there's a sale, I live for the Viseart smaller palettes, not their palettes that are like $80. I'm talking about the ones that are smaller, that are approximately like $30 or so. There's one called the Theory palette. I'm loving number 2, which is called the Minx palette, I believe. I've definitely talked about that one before. I very recently got their Viseart like shadow palette to go, which is another 8 quad. The Theory quad is 6 shadows, both shimmer and matte. And then the to go palette, I will obviously link everything down below since I have nothing to show you right now. But the one that's to go, I believe, has 8 shadows in it. And it's just equally as good a quality without having to invest a tremendous amount of money, you know, $80+ or whatever. That being said, the 5 shadow, they're not quads. What is it, a quint? by Natasha Denona. She's got some palettes that are only 5 shadows. I really love that one as well, and I've talked about that one before as well. Again, a way for you to get some really good quality shadows without having to invest a ton of money. I think Natasha Denona has one that's like $169. I'm sorry, but even with a sale, that's pretty intense. And so I love that you're able to buy a smaller version where they still wind up matching a really good quality. I have to pause right now because I'm in the car and suddenly it's 108 degrees. So I'm gonna start my car and be right back. So probably my favorite blushes in the entire Sephora store are the ones by Clinique. Those cheek pops, those darn little cheek pops that you know, tortured me in the beginning, and then it turns out I just love them so much. They really are just a gorgeous wash of color without being too much blush. I really don't like live for blush too much, and so I don't ever want it to be just too much. That being said, the blushes by NARS, I love Madly, which is like a neutral kind of pink mauve. It's like a mauve pink. And then also the one that's called Sin, that actually came as a recommendation from you guys, is a gorgeous kind of plum, it's a plummy shade of blush with a little bit of gold fleck in it, in which that makes that look really, really gorgeous. And I love that too, although that's a little bit more of a fall color. But if you can buy it on sale, you can buy it on sale. When it comes to highlighters, of course, we're always talking about, you know, Champagne Pop by Becca and a number of other very intense highlighters. I don't live for intense ones. I love the ones by NARS called Hot Sand. That one recently came out. It is a very gentle, slightly pinky with a little bit of silver in it highlighter. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I also love the highlighter by Tarte in Exposed, a little bit of a warmer tone shade, very friendly for mature skin. I actually mentioned that in one of my recent videos. Let's talk about mascara. By Tarte, I absolutely love the Lights Camera Lashes mascara. That's the one that comes, doesn't look like a tube, it looks like it's in like, it looks like a piece of candy actually, and it's purple and it's long. Would be awesome if I had it right now to show you, but I don't. But I love Lights Camera Lashes. The Better Than Sex mascara is awesome. By the way, when I used to work at Sephora, this mother came up with her daughter and young daughter and was saying, hey, we'd like to get her a mascara today. And I was so used to saying that Better Than Sex mascara by Too Faced is one of the top selling mascaras in Sephora. And here I looked at this mom with this young teenage girl and I'm like, oh my God, you totally have to try the Better Than Sex mascara. I wanted to die. So anyway, love that mascara nonetheless. I also love by Benefit the They're Real mascara. That's the one that's got the little knot of little spikies at the end. That is awesome when you're trying to do kind of defined and pinpointed work on your lashes. I love it. Oh my goodness. I am somewhat new to that mascara and I can't believe I've been without it for as long as I have. Let's kind of talk about lips. I honestly don't even want to talk about liquid lipsticks right now just because they are so drying and we're approaching the summer, and at this point I'm kind of just not a fan. I have a ton by Anastasia, I have a ton by Kat Von D, the ones by Huda Beauty are really nice, sold at Sephora. The ones from Marc Jacobs are really nice, although they are very expensive. But I love a really good creamy lipstick, and I will always default back to the NARS Audacious lipsticks. They are rich and thick enough to last, but not enough to suck the life out of your skin. They have an amazing color shade range, and I think that they're pretty phenomenal. So we've got mascara, lips, blush, what am I missing? We got highlighter, bronzers. I am loving, I mean, hello, Benefit Hoola. I mean, we go way back. But I also really love the Benefit Hoola light version. Does Sephora sell that? Oh my gosh. Does Sephora sell that? I'm gonna have to double check that. Well, whether Sephora sells it or not, it's a really good bronzer, even though it looks like death in the pan. Doesn't look like there's any color intensity there at all. It's actually pretty phenomenal. And so if Sephora has it, you should get it there. But if not, you can get it at Ulta. That's what happens when you do a video on the fly. I love the by Too Faced, the Sweethearts Sweet Tea Bronzer. It's kind of a slightly marbled bronzer, which means it's not 100% flat, but that thing applies like awesome gorgeousness. I don't even understand. It totally surprised me when I tried it on for the first time, but that bronzer is just absolutely amazing. A couple more totally random things that I was just able to think about. I love, of course, the blushes by Tarte, especially their new nudes line or selection that they released somewhat recently in the past. My favorite shade from them and from that line is Sensual, and it's just a really pretty warm kind of goldeny peachy pink shade. Really, really gorgeous. When it comes to powders and setting powders and finishing powders, which I'm actually going to be doing a video on in the semi-near future, so stay tuned for that. Of course, you cannot miss out on the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. It also comes in a baby size. When you're standing in line at Sephora to pay, you've got all those kind of travel size and smaller size items. That is definitely in there. So you can get it for about half the price for a much smaller container. So if you've got a budget and you can't shell out the whopping amount of money that the original is, then you can definitely get it in the smaller size. I love as a finishing powder, I love the one by Makeup Forever, the HD, the Ultra HD. It's the white looking powder. That thing feels like silk in your hand. It is absolutely fabulous as a final kind of finishing powder for all over your face. I do have a couple of products on me because I think they're so great. And so by NARS, the Soft Matte Complete Concealer, I use this everywhere. Whether it is to conceal, add additional foundation in certain places. I use it to prime my lids. I use it to as my under eye concealer, and I just, this thing is multifaceted, and I've already got a backup that I just cannot be without. Some really interesting lip products as far as treatment goes. You know, Bite Beauty has the Agave lip mask that comes in a miniature toothpaste tube. Well, somewhat recently they came out with the lip mask in a twisty up, which you have to be careful in the summer because even in the warmth, it's going to melt, so you have to be just very careful. It's a little bit obviously stiffer than the one that comes in the squeezy tube, but that's because it has to be, because it has to be able to keep its shape in the twisty bullet. But that being said, I don't, when I'm on the run, want to stick my fingers on something and then put it on my lips if I haven't had the opportunity to wash my hands. So for on the go, I absolutely love this. Also by Fresh, the Sugar Lip products. This looks awful because it's been in my bag, but this is the shade Nude. I used to get the clear, I have a number of them actually, but I was always a fan primarily of the Nude, the clear shade. I love the scent, but this one has an ever so slight pinky tint to it with a little bit of shimmer, which just makes it super gorgeous to both condition your lips and give your lips a little bit of color in the summertime. And so this one is new to me and I absolutely love it. The last thing that I'm going to mention are just some individual shadows because I already mentioned some palettes, but I wanted to call out some shadows. I love the shadows by Anastasia. They're normally about $12 a pan, but when you buy 4, like a quad, they drop down to $10 a pan, and you wind up getting the case to put them in, and then with your percentage off on top of it, that makes those individual shadow pans a really good deal. I love the color selection, I love the pigmentation, I love the durability of them. They are definitely one of my top brands when it comes to shadow pans. Kind of a newbie to me are the Urban Decay individual shadows. They don't come as pans, they come in little individual shadow cases. I mean, we get so distracted by their palettes. Urban Decay makes really good palettes, of course, the Naked palettes and the Smoky palette, etc. But their individual shadow pans are amazing. And because it's Urban Decay, they're a little bit edgier, so they've got a really just amazing kind of selection of some really funky or really intensely shimmered or glimmered shadows. So definitely breeze by that. In Sephora, they're usually sitting a bit lower on the display. You almost have to really look down and look for them. And so look for them because I think their shadow selection is really great, and I love the pigmentation as well of those shadows too. I think that is all I have. Oh, and Bobbi Brown. the Bobbi Brown shadows, oh my gosh, I love them. There's not a tremendous range, like color selection range. They are pretty pricey. They're about $25 a pan. The pan is larger than other shadows, but I absolutely love Toast. Toast is my transition shade. I've just hit pan on my first one, which I got not that long ago. I've already got a backup. I also love by them Black Plum. They've also got another one that's called Taupe, so it's a little bit cooler of a fabulous looking transition shade. So again, a bigger investment on sale makes them even better, but again, a larger pan. And I think just, I'm really impressed more with the colors that she has put out, even though there's not that very many in the line. I love the color selection because I think they kind of fill a void that sometimes I feel like other other companies don't fill. Like, that's what I was saying, like they make some really good, she makes some really good you know, crease shades and transition shades. That's like what I'm always looking for. Like when I think it's kind of like my holy grail, transition shades. And so I think I've talked to you informally enough. Was your lunch good? My lunch was very good. I hope you enjoyed lunch together with me. And I hope that you are flexible enough to think outside the box with me to allow me to do this. Actually, if you're still watching, that's awesome. And that's a miracle. And it means that you were willing to tolerate this very informal, outside of the box, not really done before way of giving you my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale. Honestly, there's like 5 million very professional looking videos out there having the same conversation. So if you want to go check out one of theirs to remind yourself what it means to watch a video on YouTube, then you just go right ahead. But thank you for spending your time with me. Have a really great time shopping. I appreciate the latitude that you've given me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stick around and see some other kinds of videos, then definitely become one of my subscribers. I would totally appreciate it. Have a good time shopping. I will catch you next time. Thanks.